everybody? It's your girl Nikki. I'm back with a new Sativah Sistahs sessions, and we have with us the pleasure and the honor of talking with Jessica Reid. She is the founder of Eclipse Rotations, which is a non-profit organization to help reform, inform, and change the stigma of cannabis legalization for everybody. Also, she's the mother of 20-month-old baby Emmanuel, and he was diagnosed with a tough-to-treat form of epilepsy called, try and get this right, Malignant Migrating Partial Epilepsy in Infancy with a KCNT1 Gene Mutation. So we'll get more into that in the future or later in the episode. When he was 5 weeks old, he was diagnosed with this. And she began treating Emmanuel with cannabis when he was 3 months old. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to hear what your journey has been like as a mother with cannabis. So the first question is, what was your first clue that something was happening with Emmanuel and you needed to see a doctor?
Okay. It started on my birthday. September 22nd, 2018. 2017. That's when we went to Red Lobster and I came back home. Emmanuel was having an episode in my arms. And I didn't know what he was doing, why he was doing it. I didn't know what it was. I thought he was cold. And
so he's like shivering?
Yeah,
or something?
he's
Okay.
like shaking. His eyes are looking up and he's like this.
Wow.
And his legs are doing it too. So I'm like, what are you doing? And Monday, my mom came home and stuff. And so that Monday, I took him to his primary care. And by that time, he had did it like 5 to 6 times. And so that Monday, he was doing it. I took him to his primary care. His primary care didn't know what he was doing. They never seen a baby do that. And they didn't have any questions. And so I took him to the ER. And that's when all the tests, they immediately did a spinal tap on him. And
wow.
It was a lot, like really fast.
They found it through the spinal tap or they found it through
They
other
didn't
tests?
know. They started the EEG later that evening, and like a couple of days later, that's when they was like, okay, it's seizures. But as far as the name of the seizures and everything, we didn't find it out till much later on.
So he first started having them when he was
4 weeks old when they started. That Monday he turned 5 weeks old. And that's when he was a full month. But that's when everything started. So that was September through November that we were admitted to CHOA, Eggleston, running all those tests, trying different medications, and it was just not working out.
So they came back after all these tests and they come to you with this a mouthful of words of what the name of it is. I'm by no means an epilepsy expert really at all. So all of this is really kind of strange to me, like foreign to me. I'm not familiar with it. Not that it's strange, but I'm just not familiar with it. I'm unfamiliar. And so the name.
A lot of people don't know. There are different.
The different types of that there's different types of
different seizure disorders, syndromes, related to epilepsy.
And so this is just one version that he has. Again, it's Malignant Migrating Partial Epilepsy in Infancy with a KCNT1 Gene Mutation.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like, what is that?
That means that a baby before 6 months old is having these recurring seizures. And KCNT1 is a gene mutation, meaning his genes in his body mutated, and in his brain the potassium channel stays open, and all of these extra, right, all these extra calciums are coming in and creating these electrical impulses to excite the neurons in the brain into having these seizures. So Emmanuel was having clinical and subclinical seizures.
What does that mean?
That means clinical is everything that I can see with your physical eye.
Okay.
Subclinical is everything you can't see. Like absence seizures. That is when a person stops what they're doing and they just stare off.
Okay.
They might be fidgeting with their clothes, like that, but they are having a full seizure in front of you, but it can't necessarily be detected unless it's on a test, EEG. But KCNT1, it breaks down into basically two subcategories, which are epilepsy focal epilepsy, and they migrate. So they start in the focal part of the brain, then they migrate over the brain. And then you have the autonomial dominant frontal lobe epilepsy, or nocturnal frontal lobe epilepsy. And they usually start in the babies at night. So they're having their seizures at night. And they'll migrate over the brain. So they might start in the left side, then they go to the right side, then the right side to the frontal lobe, anywhere in that whole time that they're having a seizure. So they might have a seizure for 30 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute and 30 seconds, or it might be an ongoing seizure and it doesn't stop. And those are the ones that cause the most neurological damage, delayed cognitive development, and affects the individual for a long term, like all their life, basically. But it's been said in the studies, I don't necessarily want to believe in it, but that the child won't make it out of infancy, or they won't make it out of childhood before death with this KCNT1 mutation.
How many studies do they have? A lot of studies on this
There's
particular
not
topic?
a lot of studies because it was just discovered in 2012. And so it's only 2019, so that's only 7 years that research is trying to be developed. And when it starts in these children, it says under 6 months of age. Well, I'm in the Facebook groups. These children are adults now. They're like 30, 25. They're still living. Some are 16, but they've probably just started walking at 11. Or they might be 16 and have the cognitive development of a 2-year-old. So there's not a lot of research out there. The doctor that is most reachable, I would say, as far as studying this mutation, is Dr. His name is David Burden, and he's out of Children Healthcare of Philadelphia. Okay. So he has made the registry for the KCNT1 families, and that's basically how we help each other. It's not like a National Institute of Health type study all the time, but it's more of a peer-to-peer.
I can dig it.
Type.
So what were you? So you first started trying to treat them with anti-epilepsy medication. What was that like when you were first trying to treat them with that? What did you notice?
I honestly say, when you say what was it like, it was depressing. And I'm saying depressing because when I look at Emmanuel, like pictures, and in my head, I'm always in my head. So I remember, like, I'm his mom. I remember from birth to today, and I'm always taking pictures so I can see the decline, and I can see his personality and trying to come through. But when he was on these medications, I felt pressed because I started him so early. Like, he was only 5 weeks old. He, in my mind, he was still so pure and clean. He didn't have any toxins. Yeah, he didn't have anything in his body for all of that. He was breastfed, so he got all of the nutrients. He was growing. And then when I gave him these meds, I saw everything start stripping away. So it wasn't just the seizures that was contributing to it. Medicines have side effects.
Right.
And when you see it so early, you just have a lot of questions, and then those questions leads to doubts. Like, and you beat yourself up. Like, why did I start so early? Why didn't I start cannabis first? That's natural.
Well, I mean, when the entire medical community is kind of pushing.
And that's another thing. Like, it's not even just a push. It's a, well, this is the only option type of conversation.
Right.
Like, nothing else. And the medicines led to Emmanuel being in the ICU because of breathing problems.
Okay.
And they're not introducing one medicine at a time.
Right.
It's like
multiple.
Yeah.
How many did they try to do at a time?
It was 2 to 3 at a time. And then if these 3 didn't work, we'll stop one. Right. Yeah. We'll stop one, try another one, then we'll decrease this one and decrease this one. I'm like, why am I allowing y'all to just do this to my baby? Because I'm supposed to trust y'all. I'm supposed to trust y'all because y'all have this knowledge, y'all have this level of authority.
Right.
But I don't agree with it. And yes, parents have all the authority. They say that. But then they'll throw okay, well, you have to sign this refusal of medical treatment form. Like, and then if something well, I said it. If he was to die or something else was to happen, okay, it shouldn't be like blame the mom because she didn't want the medical treatment.
Let's compound on it, make the trauma worse, and all kinds of,
So, I feel about them, I feel like they should not be introduced so early. I understand the need, but I would say reduce how many are introduced at one given time. And I will also, that's why I found my organization. I want to be able to go to those parents when they first get diagnosed and be like, look, there's another way. Hey, there's another way.
Let's talk about that other way. So you started treating them with cannabis. What was the breaking point, I think, to make you be like, okay, all these medicines they're given, I don't want to just do that? Because you started with doing both at the same time, or you just cold turkey took them off the meds?
I started doing them both at the same time.
And what was the point that made you be like, all right, I'm just gonna try cannabis? The doctors ain't saying it, but I'm gonna try it.
It was sitting in the room. We were in the hospital room, and I was sitting there reading the medical journals on the gene mutation, and I started looking up quinidine, which was one of the drugs that the doctors wanted to introduce Emmanuel on, and the side effects were heart problems. And I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with his heart. I don't want to give him nothing that's going to contribute to something so drastic.
Right.
Like, this isn't urination problems. This isn't drowsiness. This is heart
problems. Right.
And he's only a month or 2 months old. So if this was to work, that means he's going to be on it for long-term use and long-term use of the drug.
Right.
Like, So I was saying to myself, it has to be something else. And of course, I've heard of Charlotte's Web and Palmetto Harmony worked for other kids, but they weren't babies. So I was being myself, and I was like, well, I was talking to his dad, honestly, and it was like, well, Jessica, you've been smoking forever. I'll smoke forever. That's what his dad is saying. But while I was pregnant with Emmanuel, I didn't smoke. Why wouldn't you continue? So that was a conversation in itself. And then it was like, well, if it worked for these children, because Charlotte, I believe when she started, her mom started her own cannabis, I think, when she was like 3 or 4 for Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, since I'm a lactation consultant, I know that cannabinoids are in breast milk. So I was like, well, he's getting some cannabinoids through my breast milk. Why not just give him a sublingual, like regular oil, in his mouth orally? So then that's when the doctors came in and was like, after we tried keto diet, and the same doctor who was over the keto diet, he then said, after I presented it, he was like, well, we can get you the registration card for low THC oil. And I'm like, well, I said to him and the neurologist, I'm like, why y'all didn't tell me this?
Right. In the first place, when y'all were pushing all the mother meds.
Yeah.
Made it seem like there was
7 tries ago. 7 different medications ago.
Interesting.
I'm like, now you telling me this? And he was like, well, he tried to play it off like, well, it'll take at least 3 weeks to get it. You have to get the paperwork filed, and we have to sign it. He's trying to make it.
If they said it earlier, y'all could have been using all that time to be. Yeah.
Okay, if we've already been here 3 weeks.
Right.
Another 3 weeks, I'll probably be at my home. My baby will be fine. Like, I don't get what your time issue is. If I already gave y'all 3 weeks and it has been a failure, why wouldn't I try this? And I don't think it'll take 3 weeks.
Had you talked to them about trying your own treatment with cannabis, or were you just listening to what they were saying about, hey, here's this oil we can try and get your card to?
No, it wasn't no conversation. There was no conversation. It was me thinking and reading and then asking questions. And then after you ask a question, that's when a follow-up is given. That's when recommendations are given. So when they give you the application for your card, they'll give you a list of suppliers who are supposed to be nearby. Nearby is like Charlotte Web is in, I think, South Carolina. Right? They go out there.
They started,
I think they ship from somewhere like in North Carolina, or is that Palmetto? I think that's Palmetto Harmony. I'm sorry, but we started with Palmetto Harmony first, and they were in either North Carolina or South Carolina, and they were only the two that the doctors recommended or could, I guess, just recommend or just refer to, because it wasn't a lot of options. Yeah. Because Georgia is so different with the percentage and everything. So I know Palmetto Harmony, they meet the Georgia requirements. Charlotte Web is a little bit stronger, but I don't think it met the initial requirements for Georgia's law. But you can still get it. They will ship. Other places like in California and Colorado, they're not going to ship. Not all of them.
So you started then by using the Palmetto and introducing that. What made you start doing more of that and less of the meds? Like, where was the point where you made that decision?
I made that decision a month and a half later. Probably 2 months later. Because I was sitting at home and I was in my feelings trying to figure out how am I going to take care of Emmanuel. Because at that point, I couldn't put him in daycare. I had went to CAPS. I had went to Bright from the start trying to put him in daycare. So I couldn't put him in daycare because the oil can't be on the premises. Yeah. And
Wow. And that's something I never even thought about.
Right.
Honestly.
But this is not Tylenol or albuterol for kids who have asthma and stuff. They have their little inhaler. They can go to school.
Yeah. Wow.
No problem. But Emmanuel, I couldn't put him in daycare because it couldn't be on the campus. And yes, I can give it to him, then take him to daycare, but that's not how his seizures work. I can't just schedule out his meds like that because his meds, his cannabis, his meds, I give it to him when I see the seizures about to start, so that way it can settle in his body. It's not like give it early and it's just gonna decrease the seizures later on throughout the day. I haven't gotten to that strength yet or whatever yet to do it like that. But with Emmanuel's seizures, I have to give it to him when he's about to have it, which is usually when he's trying to go to sleep or wake up. So it's a little complicated. But to get back to the question, when I became an advocate, I was just looking at YouTube channels of people in Colorado and other places, Nevada, and they're advocates. They're their own entrepreneurs in the cannabis space and making a living on it. And so, not only am I an entrepreneur, I'm trying to figure out the right strand for Emmanuel or terpenes. It's not even about strands anymore. It's about terpenes. So, trying to find the right terpene profile for him for his seizures. Just like Haley's Hope and Charlotte's Web and Palmetto Harmony, it helped for certain types of seizures. That's why it is beneficial. And those seizures are like Dravet syndrome and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. Well, this is migrating. Those seizures start in one place. They can be somewhat controlled better. And you've seen that with the THC CBD oils. Well, Emmanuel's are migrating, so I'm trying to still find the right combination. You see what I'm saying?
Because it's moving, it's bouncing all around
all
his
over.
brain.
So I need the right terpene profile that can help with excitement, or I don't even know how to do it or say the right things because I need a lab or a bud tender that can tell me what I need to know to understand.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, once I started with Palmetto Harmony and became an advocate, I found, I learned about full spectrum. And I tried a full spectrum oil with Emmanuel. It was out of Colorado. And he didn't have any seizures for about 3 days.
Wow.
When I gave it to him. And so that's when I was like, I know what I have to do. I paying attention to YouTube. Thank God for YouTube.
I'm telling you.
It gave me the courage to say, I can do this. And then I started looking up the groups. And through my networking is how I found the right oils or the right strength or knowledge to know. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but having somebody go to those places that I need and then have them call me while they're there and I'm talking to a bud tender. Telling them what I'm looking for, what y'all have, stuff like that, because I can just pull down a drop menu online and order what I need for certain stuff or a certain strength. So about 6 months, yes, I found the full thing or better quantity of oil or quality of oil. And he was completely off by 6 months.
That's amazing.
And only using cannabis.
And even though it's so unique, he still had this kind of breakthrough. That's amazing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what keeps me going. Because if I've seen my baby go days without an episode when he was having over 200 every day, then in a way you can tell me otherwise. I mean, I've tried isolates, I've tried full spectrum, so I kind of understand. So I just know something is better out there for the man.
Right. So your preferred method of giving it to him is through oil. That's the way, and that's always been the way that you gave it to him.
Yeah.
And wow. So like, what's the longest stretch? Was the 3 days the longest stretch you've noticed that he's gone
The
out?
longest is really almost 5 days.
Wow.
With the right full spectrum.
Okay. And what drove you to start Eclipse Rotation?
YouTube and seeing people younger than me in the cannabis space with their confidence and just standing up for something that they believe in. And then seeing that my son his quality of life is so much better because I've made this decision.
Right.
To just advocate. It started out with me just contacting M for MM, Minorities for Medical Marijuana, trying to find out if they were in Georgia first, and then telling them I want to be a lobbyist.
Word up.
And once I started going to the Capitol, like I said, networking, just for Emmanuel, it's just been a calling in a sense, because I didn't see nobody, even on YouTube, I didn't see a black woman standing up for cannabis. Yes, I saw one, James. It's others, but I didn't see the mom.
Moms, right?
Who, like, look, my baby need this, y'all. Somebody just teach me, show me. A learner. Like, I embrace always. You can learn from everybody and everything around you. So
I can dig it. So can you give us a summary of what Eclipse Rotations is, what they do, and is Canna Crawlers Atlanta, is that yours too, or is that okay? Tell us about it. What it is.
Eclipse Rotations is the nonprofit that I started. Canna Crawlers is kind of just the social aspect of it. But Eclipse Rotations is a nonprofit that will provide cannabis products, accessories to needed families. So families who have children with epilepsy, we're trying to help educate them, because our focus is if food and other behavioral things in society is taught in the home, like you cook in your family at home, you learn about everything first in the home with the family. So cannabis education should be included in the family conversation, just like everything else. I mean, that don't do drugs talk starts at 5 years old now, first grade, second grade. But if those parents know how to talk to their children at 5 years old to say, well, this is mommy's medicine,
right?
This is for mommy and daddy only. Like, that conversation has to change, and that's what we're about, changing that stigma. Because I have issues still as an adult with my parents on this, and it's my own medication, my own thing. Now my son is using it, so they're looking at it like, well, I can use it for Emmanuel, but I can't use it.
Oh, so they're on board with you using it for the baby, for
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, but not
for
you.
me, not for themselves. Like,
isn't
even my grandma, she has glaucoma.
Yeah.
They're not trying to use it for glaucoma. They're not trying to use it for the arthritis pain. Like, I can point out so many elements. Yeah. And they're not trying to hear it. And they don't want to see the facts. They don't want to see. Right. They don't want to hear it. And
that's one of the things we're really trying to like dig into. Not just with my videos, but just like everybody who's out there doing this is trying to get our people to understand that this is not just about getting blazed, and if it is not, If it is, then that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's also medicine, and what a lot of people don't realize is when you are getting blazed, you might be treating something like a depression, right, or something like that. Like I use it for stress because my job keeps me stressed. And it's the only way I could get my brain to quiet down. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but we have to like try to educate our own people who have had these messages driven into them in the most violent means. That there's a whole other way to look at this. You know what I mean? But just to touch on something that you mentioned, because you were saying you looked out, you didn't see any black moms talking about, hey, this is what it is. I've been to the Capitol, when Georgia was trying to, work on this legalization of growing cannabis for medicinal reasons. Here, they had these panels and stuff, where people could go and give their comments, these public hearings and stuff. When you would go, and all the parents would be white parents. It's this white dude with a cop's buzz cut, and this white blonde woman, and they're all talking about the struggle of the father. The buzz cut dude talking about breaking the law and going out of state to bring medicine in, to his kid, and how his wife worries and all that stuff. And we had this representative, Alan Peaks, I think his name is, who straight up just breaks the law, just bringing the stuff in here. But all of these are white people, you know what I mean? And we know how this has been, like I said earlier, violently driven into the black community about how we can't do these. We get arrested. We can't do the same thing. So they can get up there on Capitol Hill and be like, I do this. It's what I do,
I have no problem with
it. And all these cops around and nobody's like giving them the eye or nothing like that. I'm just like, this is blowing my mind. But that's how it is, and we're in Georgia and we know what it is.
Georgia.
So when you were about to, just knowing how it's not the same for us as it is for them, and you were trying to do this, for your child, did you have doubts about going this route at all, and like fears or anything? Just knowing how they treat us differently. And if you did, how did you get over them?
I would say I don't have fear like that. I can get scared. I can get nervous. But fearful, I wouldn't say I'm fearful. When I started this, I wasn't thinking about them. Straight,
a baby to worry about.
Like that. Yeah, like I knew what I was trying to do. I knew what I needed to do. And, I mean, I already had the registration card by then. I was like, well, this registration card is supposed to protect me. So, what am I scared about? Like, when I don't have the 20-ounce bottle, I'm just carrying not even an ounce. My bottle is not even an ounce, and it's powerful. But I wasn't nervous. I didn't think of any backlash or anything like that. I was just focused. When I do see the police and everything, I mean, when you open that bottle, it still smells like marijuana. If it's spilled, it still smells like marijuana. It's probably not as loud as some of the stuff that's out there, but it still have its distinct smell.
Right.
But no, I wasn't nervous.
Okay.
Doubts or anything. I was just focused and determined.
I can dig it. All right. Your son's epilepsy diagnosis was a major factor in your decision to get more involved in the legalization movement. What's your experience been like as an activist, particularly as a Black woman?
My experience so far, you can get overlooked. So you have to stay on top. I mean, you are your researcher. You are your everything. Like, you have to know who is who, groups of groups. How to do this stuff. Like, no one teach you how to be a lobbyist.
Yeah.
No one teach you how to contact your representatives. Everybody say contact your representatives.
Mm-hmm.
How
it's
you
like,
contact?
what does that mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What district do I live in?
Right.
Who is this and that? And so, getting involved politically, knowing and learning how to find these people, speak the lingo and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just been self-taught.
Okay.
But as far as like getting looked over, like no one expects this dreadhead black woman to be walking around with a baby in the Capitol talking about we need marijuana oil.
And the thing is, like, why not?
Yeah,
like you got like I said, you got these like, white parents walking around saying the same thing.
People,
why not?
Where's the blacks and Hispanic? And I know we have some Asians
right, some
out
Asian
there.
folks.
Like, where y'all at? So that was my question, and like to myself. So, I mean, I really just do me. I just go where I need to go and kind of be where I can learn something. Just learn how to get the information that I need as far as like, what does this law say? How is it benefiting my family? How is it going to benefit my family? Because as a black woman, like, I've had defects come out to my house looking for Emmanuel, and I'm like, who sent you? I know who sent you. Like, in the back of your head, you know. I went to a doctor appointment for myself, and the white nurse, she just happened to be white. I'm not like calling out races or anything, but she just happened to be white. She asked me what I do for Emmanuel. I'm telling her, and I'm looking at her. You. Yeah, it's my doctor appointment.
Wow.
And she's jotting down in her little laptop, and that was at 3:00 that afternoon. 6:00, 7:00 that evening, DFAX was at my porch on my doorstep saying, we demand to see Emmanuel. If you don't show us he's safe, then we have to call the police. I'm like, safe? She said, yes, ma'am, we've received a report that you're giving narcotics to a baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa. Is he high? Like, what is in your document? Is he walking around high or something?
Right.
Is he messed up? Like, who would put this? And this is the nurse that I was supposed to be seeing. Right. So, I would just say, I don't feel like any of the white parents have, I don't know if they probably have, but defects been out to y'all house? Right. Yeah. Y'all been told y'all can put y'all baby in daycare? Like, does this card represent something else that I'm not aware of? Like, is this really protection, or is it something to say, hey, look out for this person, she gonna be carrying this, and this. Like, when it changed, let's just say it changed with the law. Yes, it has all oil, but what if 10 years from now it includes something else and this registry changes? Is this gonna have people stand out like a sore thumb, like easy targets? Or is it really protecting anybody? Because at that point, when defense was at my house, I didn't feel protected, but I paid my money to be protected. So, as a black lady in this, as a mom, I don't know, I definitely see the divide, but it's trying to be inclusive. It's inclusive, but it's just different, and you can feel the difference.
A bit. So in your outreach work, when you're talking about the benefits of medical marijuana and how it has helped your baby, how receptive have you seen other women, when you're talking, be into your message? And is that receptiveness affected by race at all? Like, you find like white people more open or black people or anything?
No, because that conversation is about their child. So everyone is included. Everybody feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
to talk once it's about the children.
Yeah.
And if it's just about adult use, then it's like, no, that's
Right.
the
Start
divide.
pulling back. And,
So, I mentioned that I was doing a justice talk for the ACLU justice talk. They was doing a marijuana reform. And I had said that in a statement that when they started this bill, it was for the children, but now they've included adult use. But I said that don't let something just be said just to get the reaction of the parents because they want to protect their children, they want to help their children. Don't use the child as a scapegoat,
like a bait
thing, right? So don't do it like that. And the conversation definitely changes when you focus on children compared to adults. So it's not a divide necessarily, but it can be. All users are different. All opinions are different.
Word. All right, so we were talking about Wanda James earlier. We both admire her. She, trailblazer that she is, she said, we need to be more open and public about our use in order to change stigmas and stereotypes that exist about stoners. And changing the stigma is one of Eclipse Rotations' missions.
Right.
What do you see as the barriers to our community, specifically, being more open with our use? And particularly, speaking as a mom, like, what do you see as the barriers to us being more open?
I would say just education. It's not the main barrier. It's not the only barrier.
Right.
But education is the biggest, because my parents' generation, my generation, and the generation after me, we learn differently.
Yep.
We all tolerate differently. People would say the millennials and the generation under us, we don't have no patience. We don't tolerate a lot of stuff. Well, that's a problem with the older generation. And cannabis is in the heart of that. The older generation look at cannabis as a drug that just gonna lead you to dope dealing on the street and in jail or dead.
Right.
Millennials, we on health. This is for health. Everything is for your health. The environment. We're trying to save some of us our age. We're trying to save the earth. We're trying to fix the ozone. It'll help with the crops, which will help with the toxins in the soil. And it's a domino effect of benefits that our generation understand. And the generation under us, I don't really know what to say about them, because they'll go either way if it benefits them. So if all of us were on the same page of education, understand the benefits together, and see where we all fit in that puzzle, then it goes back to what I said. Cannabis education starts in the family, and there's nowhere around that. There's nowhere around it, because it's going to be included in the schools. Like, it's in college campuses. But just like how you have farm to table, and that allowed elementary schools and middle schools to have gardens on school grounds, cannabis education can be incorporated, because that will teach in the home ec class, oh, this fabric can make this table linen clothes for girls who want to go into fashion. Like, this conversation can change so many other conversations that will lead to better self-esteem, which my generation deal with a lot of self-esteem issues from social media and stuff. So it's just a domino effect of benefits. And Miss Wanda James is just way more than a trailblazer. And she started it. in my mind, because when she said that you have to understand or acknowledge your own use and be upfront or open about it, that's just like the LGBTQ community. They had to be open. Cannabis users have to be open. We are open, but some of us can't even be open in our own families. And that's just like a lot of topics on other subjects. So
we just gotta get educated.
Get educated. Because there's so much that's out there. You have business, you have agriculture, you have labs, so that's science. You have finance. We need a banking system.
Yeah. Tech. You need tech to help run it. Yeah.
Security. It's so much out there, and it starts in the family. If your child come up to you and be like, "Mom, I want to be a hemp farmer," what's different from him saying, "Mom, I want to be a peach farmer in Peach County, Georgia, in Fort Valley, Georgia"? He could go to Fort Valley State for agriculture. Shout out Fort Valley.
Word. Word. All right. So what are your plans going forward now that Georgia has passed this form of legalization? It's a small form of legalization. There's still some work to be done, but they passed it to grant some form of access to medical cannabis patients. What's your plan specifically as an activist and all that?
Just educate. Cannon Crawlers is our social education group that's on Facebook. So we're going to be hosting events that are just family-oriented, based around cannabis education. From grandmama to mama to daughter, dad, grandpa, son, everybody is included. And so just getting out there more, going to different conferences, continuing learning so that I can bring it back to the everyday family who just want to know, like, who come up to me and message me, like, what is the difference? And how do I get this? And how do I get registered? We're trying to register people through our website to help you find the right doctors that you need to get your card. Because we have 2 years till, I would say, grand openings of any company that come in and everything. But in that time, I'm definitely going to be educating. So when it's opening day, you'll know what you're trying to do here in the state of Georgia.
Right on. Cool. So what is the first piece of advice that you would give to our community if they want to move into a cannabis space?
Find your niche. Find your passion. I have been a consumer for at least 10 years of my life. And I didn't know my passion until I realized, like, well, I really love weed. I really, like, some people have a passion for, like, they can do their graphic design. They can have a passion for poetry, anything. Well, I like crafts, but I don't think I can open up an Etsy shop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my passion is talking about cannabis. I was always convincing family, still is, always convincing family. And now that I use it for Emmanuel, it's kind of a visual. Some people only learn by seeing, some people learn by doing. So me expressing my passion of cannabis education, and they're seeing me use it for Emmanuel, I can show them, like, look, you can use this for yourself. Not only smoking, there are salves, lotions, everything just included in your life. So get into this space, just find your niche. Find out what you're good at and just bring it over. If you have the same love and passion, creativity in this space.
Cool. Now, what advice would you give Black women specifically who want to do it, who want to move into cannabis space?
I would say to my black sisters, I would just say, be you, be original. It's a lot of edibles. There's a lot of consultants, but make sure that you're original.
Mm-hmm.
And however you can switch it up. Like, black sisters have a different level of creativity to me. They're visionaries, so they can see stuff 10 different ways compared to like a male. And I feel like all of those hairstyles, makeup, tutorials that's out there on YouTube.
Like y'all geniuses.
Right, like incorporate that into this space. Y'all are real creative. I can't do all the makeup and
right.
That's just not me. That's not what I spend my time doing or trying to perfect. There's somebody out there who does this on a regular basis like it's nothing. They can put this in this space. And for the black girls, I'm sure they can find a way to switch it up and flip it into a cannabis-based lip gloss tutorial. Put a wig together or something. I don't know. Maybe use hemp yarn. For your sew-in or whatever.
Right. Something. We got the creativity.
Yeah, they have the creativity. And there's a lot of space because nobody expects black women to be involved. And that's why legislators took so long to include minority participation. It wasn't what everybody wanted, but all states, they didn't even have to put that into law or into the bill because their constituents or citizens, they stand up. They show up. Not a lot of people show up in Georgia at the Capitol to fight for what they believe in. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people complain. A lot of people have questions. So, I'm just saying, it's ways to be involved. They can definitely use their own creativity, get involved.
Word. So if a person wants to keep up with you, or Eclipse Rotations, get involved in canna crawlers, how can they do that? What's the way to get at y'all, keep up with what you're doing?
They can follow me on Facebook, Jessica Reid, or you can follow the Facebook group Canna Crawlers Atlanta. And on Instagram, it is cannacrawlers_Atlanta. So they can follow us on there. And our website is cannacrawlers.com.
Cool.
So I'll be interested to hear from everybody and continue to follow back, get the word out there about changing the stigma towards cannabis.
Right on. Well, thank you for joining us. One time for the moms out there.
Yeah,
like for real, doing it for these babies.
All these single moms out there doing it.
Yeah. Doing it. All the moms. And thank you for coming on and educating them. There might be some moms out there watching this who's like, man, maybe this will help for my baby. Maybe the baby doesn't have epilepsy. Maybe they got something else. You know what I mean? Like,
all you have to do is try. I mean,
some kind of skin condition or something, anything.
And I mean, you're always willing to listen to the doctor, but you have your mother's instinct. And if you feel like it's not right, then you really already have your answer.
Well, that and just knowing about medical bias out there, and particularly when it comes to Black women, how we are like the least listened to when it comes to like pain and like whatever else it is we're going through.
No one believes us and everything, and getting treatment is ridiculous. Like,
follow your instincts.
Yes, follow your instincts.
Seek out people like Jessica Reid. She probably got some information for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, man.